guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about where your training maps are going to be from level 200 to level 250. And I say that because I don't have access to the maps that are past level 255, which is why I'm just going to be going up to 250. Okay. So to start off the bat, basically at level 200, you're going to be going to a few options in the Arcane River Nameless Town. And most notably, the most popular map is Below the Cave. Now this map is very popular. As you can see, I'm currently in Aurora and there's somebody training here, which is rare. But as you can see, the map is very flat and it's also very long, and the platforms aren't too far spaced out. Now this is good for classes who can cover large areas like Kana, have a lot of summons. Xenons do particularly well here too with a bunch of their summons, assuming you do have the Lucid Soul, but there are classes where this layout isn't very good, and as an possible alternative, I think Arma's hideout is very good for classes like Night Lord where stars are shooting out. Again, this is my personal opinion, but as you can see here, there's many platforms. If the Night Lord does one tap or one shot with their stars, it makes training a lot easier because it can just go around and literally kill every platform. And if you have Kana or Frenzy, it makes it even easier. I've tried this on my Kana before, and I think it actually worked out relatively well, especially if you place your Kishin on the bottom platform and your your Ghost Yaksha on any one of these. They can cover all three of the platforms. But the one downside is that this map is rather long. So is the other one, but the other one has a much better layout with only like what, four platforms I want to say. But otherwise, you can go to different alternative maps for Tranquil Urdas. This one, Eastern Cave Path 2, is the second most popular because it's kind of like the inverted version of Below the Cave. Below the Cave, sounds right. Um, yeah, that pretty much covers where you're going to train from level 200 to 210. Um, and basically, you can just pick any one of the three maps and figure out which one works well for you. I think another honorable mention is Spirit Zone. A lot of people don't like this map because the layout is honestly kind of weird with how how the platforms are set up. But I've noticed if you placed a Lucid Soul here, kills these two platforms. Xenon can cover this top platform up here. Oh my god, please. With Hypogram Field. And then use their third Hypogram Field here. And literally all they have to do is kill the ones in the middle. And you get this as soon as you hit level 200. You can clear the whole map. If you have Frenzy, it's really good. You can clear pretty much the entire map at any given time. And now you've reached level 210, and Choo Choo Island is your next destination. Now, I love Choo Choo Island because the color scheme is great. Just kidding. It just has a really great daily. 15 symbols a day is honestly great, and you get the extra ones from the chef, master like. But um, the map you're basically going to be training in is going to be Slurpy Forest Depths. Now, in regular server, in regular server, especially Aurora, this map isn't very popular because there's just not that many people training at these levels. So you probably won't find a hard time getting a map. In Reboot, this will obviously be different. So there are other map alternatives, and I don't exactly know the name of the map, so I'm just going to move leftward as I continue talking about Choo Choo Island. The mobs here will pretty much give around like 180 to 200k EXP. It's pretty good. In Reboot, that's going to be different. I believe it's going to be 3 times or 2 times more. But this is the other map that you can train in. Most classes do relatively well here. I think the Lucid Soul also reaches the top platform. Yep, and if you're a Xenon, you can cover this entire map by placing one hypogram there and the other hypogram here. Oh, it's on cooldown, but as you can see, literally you can clear the whole map and just literally AFK. You'll see this as a trend with Xenon. I guess But for most classes that don't have these summons, you'll be probably looking and leaning more towards Slurpy Forest Depths. Again, you'll be training in these two maps primarily all the way to level 220 when you unlock Lachlan. Now, Lachlan is super cool in the sense that actually I don't know why it's super cool, but actually no, it's super cool because they have the boss Lucid. Lucid's gonna be the first boss of the Arcane River. But that's not the point of this video. You guys want to know where to train, and I think the first place that I got to talk about is Revelation Place 3. Now, this map was notoriously popular back in the day because it was relatively easy for most classes to clear. And then they also buffed it, or they buffed the map when they made it smaller and made it more compact so more classes could train here. Makes it even better. The Exp count is going to be pretty standard, as you can see on the bottom right of my screen, between 260 and 280k Exp per mob. Again, these are based off of regular server rates and will vary depending on your world. Now, if that is full, I'm actually not quite sure where the other alternative maps are to train because this is the only map I ever trained in and this was my favorite. But I know for Kanas, especially in uh, Reboot, Chicken Festival 1 is a great area because Kanas can stand here and use their Exorcist Charm. They can summon their Ghost Boss here and place their Kishin either on this top platform or right here. And I actually lied because I do know another map. It has to do with where the chickens are. It's one of these, I think. One of the chicken festivals. Um, Yeah, it's this one right here, Chicken Festival 2. As you can see, it's relatively flat, and you can cover if you can cover 4 platforms, it's really good. I think Luminous has a great time here. Most classes though will do better at Revelation Place 3. Arcana. Now, Arcana is very interesting in the sense that these maps can vary. So, in regular server, that is Aurora, Barra, Scania, and Elysium, you're going to be wanting to train at CLP. Now, CLP is great because the map is relatively compact, has 3 platforms only, and it's not that difficult to cover all 3 platforms. As you can see on Xenon, I can literally cover the whole map with 2 skills. Now, if you put that into rotation with my Summon Lucid Soul, it makes it super easy to almost be having a complete uptime to clear the whole map with your summon skills. That gives you very little to actually do, and makes training a lot easier. Now, there are some alternatives to this map, but I'd highly recommend you stay at CLP, especially if you're playing in regular server. In Reboot, you're gonna consider bigger maps, and I think any of the CLP maps will do good for you. Like I know in the Cavern Part 1 is another popular choice. Um, Again, this will all be class dependent, and I'm just giving you some map examples, but you're basically going to be training here from the moment you hit level 225 all the way until you hit about 235 and maybe even up to 250 if you're really lazy and just want to train at CLP the whole time. Now, Reboot people, it's different because a lot of these maps are being occupied by meso farmers. So really, you're just looking for any like small compact map in these bottom areas that you can find um, a map in. Now, I know that's really broad. I mean, really vague, as in the sense that this is one of the most popular reboot farming maps, yet nobody actually trains here in regular server because this map is just too big to cover 100% uptime with, especially compared to CLP. Now, in reboot, things are different, but here are some other alternative maps that are good. Side Path is one of them. I actually think this is pretty popular too. You see the 2 platforms here, and then the same symmetry on the other right side, 2 platforms here, and you have the middle. Kanas popularly will spawn Kishin on one of these platforms and place the ghost on the other. And then basically you just stand up here in the top casting Exorcist Charm, and your Lucid Soul will be occupying probably this whole side, and that allows you to clear the whole map. There's very little platforms to navigate, so when you're looting, it doesn't matter as much. But again, there's a lot of debate and a lot of preference and a lot of availability issues Cavern Upper Path also isn't bad if you just like navigating one platform. If you have a class that can reach both platforms through like Night Lord Stars or Lumi range, feel free to train however you want. Again, Xenon has it very nice here too. And again, I wouldn't recommend if you're in regular server to train here. I would really recommend looking for a CLP map, but that will cover Arcana. Now, once you hit level 230, you're gonna check Morass, and basically you're never going to actively train in Morass. The reason why is because the maps are too big, the way too many platforms, so looting is really inconvenient. And this is just one example. As you can see, there's one platform, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, and that's not even the top section. So that's probably about 2/3, and so 11 for the one over here on the top right. 12, 13, 14, 15. It's really bad in the sense of GMS players because we do have spawn multipliers that make more compact maps better to train at when you can kill the entire map the instant it spawns versus having time to roam around the entire map and killing like you would have in KMS. It's also why very little people choose to farm in these maps and reboots because a lot of these maps are not loot friendly. So just avoid them altogether. Now, Esfera actually does have a couple maps that are interesting for training spots, and a lot of those are revolved around these three maps right here, the Mirror Touched Seas. Now, the one of the popular ones, the Mirror Touched Sea 2, as you can see, the layout here is kind of big on the platforms. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the big one on the bottom. Now, most classes will have trouble navigating through here, but you can just make a flash jump rotation that's clockwise or counterclockwise from the map. Keep in mind, a Lucid Soul will make this a lot faster, and having the skill for Will's True Arachnid Reflection will also have some uptime that can be used to clear the platform. So one thing that I like to do, I'll summon True Arachnid here, summon my Lucid Soul here. Lucid will hit all three platforms. Um, but if she caps out on mobs, obviously she won't. And then I'll have my summons and just place them throughout the map. This is not the best because it hits single target, but it does strike a little faster. So it's really up to you how you decide to play this map. Xenons can literally train anywhere besides Morass. So yeah, it's actually not my favorite place to train as Xenon on the Mirror Touch C maps. I was just giving one example. Again, people have their preferences and like their, of course, their like laziness when it comes to training. I hate that word, but it's true. Some people are more lazy, some people are less lazy. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat so often. But this is another popular choice, Mirror Touch C3. Honestly, I've never trained here, so I can't talk much to it. I just know that this map is one option. Just by jumping around, I can like kind of theorize where to put stuff. So Lucid, put the purple hypogram as you saw down there. Summon my big hypogram probably here, and it'll touch all these platforms, and I'll just jump around killing. Of course, you can do with this information with what you will. I'm just giving you maps that to train on. And you can come here as soon as you hit level 235, given that your damage reduction isn't too high for reboot. It might not be, um, what's the word? It might not be plausible for you to train in just because at level 235 you have a 9 level difference, which is pretty big. So you'll probably train in CLP or some Arcana map until level 240 when these monsters are less strong. Now this is my preferred map to train in Esfera, especially on Xenon. I'm TS4. Now you can clear the whole map by placing that right there. I'm a hypogrammer here. My bigger hypogram and Lucid will rotate in this location, and then basically all you have is the bottom platform that you have to kill. Super easy. But yeah, this is my choice. I'm really lazy when it comes to training, so I don't mind losing like a couple hundred mil EXP or a bill or two EXP. If I can um, do less work and be less burnout so I can train for longer. And with that, you should be able to train here until all the way to level 250. That's when you'll unlock Tenebris. Now I've never really, or Moonbridge, and I've never really trained at Moonbridge, but I heard For some maps, the Void Current maps do make sense to train in. There's again, they're pretty big, but as you can see here, the mobs are kind of large, so it wouldn't be hard to navigate multiple platforms. You can see the Hypogram kills all three of the platforms, and that's just the smallest one. So it really just depends on your class. I can see Night Lords doing really well here. Void Current 2 is probably not an option. As you can see the maps on the top left, there's many platforms that are just inaccessible regularly. And Void Current 1 kind of has the same issue. So yeah, Void looks like Void Current 3 would probably be your best bet, training wise. All the way to level 255 when the last set of maps comes out. Actually, I think I have access to Lab of Suffering too, but I've never really seen these maps being used. It's really just been Void Current 3. Um, and then off of there, you get into the final Lamina maps, which I don't have access to, but the End of the Worlds are very good. And with that, I pretty much cover all my favorite training spots post level 200. Do with this information with what you will, and I hope it helps out some of you. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you learned something new today, and as always, happy mapling, guys. See you next time.